unbelievable rescue mission of these poor animals that left everyone in tears. A leopard. A wild leopard was discovered trapped at the bottom of a deep well in India in 2018. It was almost impossible to determine precisely how the animal fell 50 feet into the well. But it was obvious that the animal was trapped and helpless. The large cat couldn't jump out of the hole because it was too deep, and there was no way to climb the steep walls. It continued to float in the water because leopards are naturally quite good swimmers. However, it was gradually losing power and vitality. Fortunately, people came to his rescue. The locals called the rescue crew right away, and they were able to help when they got there. But they were unable to immediately save the poor animal. They started by dropping a log into the water. The rescuers were hoping the leopard would climb on it so they could lift it. Sadly, the leopard refrained from doing so. The cage was eventually lowered, and it was a good decision. It quietly dove in, and the rescue crew pulled it out. It was a beautiful 3-year-old female leopard who was in good health. The leopard was then returned to the wild after having been kept under close observation while she recovered from the fall. The svelte creature immediately darted off and disappeared into the forest. Giselle, the horse. Experts use a 10-point scale to assess an animal's condition and health when they find one that needs to be saved. Giselle, a horse, had a scale of just 1, which indicated that she wasn't doing well. In fact, the animal was in a terrible state. The horse struggled to take another step and could hardly stand. The halter had been on her muzzle for so long that it was partially deeply ingrained in her skin. Undoubtedly, the poor creature went months without eating well. Giselle endured a lot before rescuers found her, and it is difficult to even imagine what she went through. However, helping the poor animal took some time. Reportedly, she only weighed 306 kilograms. Even when people thought her survival was difficult, a miracle happened. Water, wholesome food, medical attention, a secure place to live, and a lot of love worked wonders for Giselle. She showed a remarkable amount of willpower. So, after a few months, it was difficult to recognize her. Now, Giselle is an energetic and lively horse. Additionally, she enjoys being spoiled and presents herself as the best horse in the stable. Boone Rod. An employee of an oil rig went outside for a break in 2019. But finding a dog in the middle of nowhere was the last thing he expected. The unfortunate, worn-out animal was grasping at life to escape from the waves. The employee couldn't believe what he was seeing. The drilling platform was situated 137 miles off the coast of Thailand. The workers gathered and quickly pulled him up. The poor dog was starving, wet, and worn out. He was loaded onto an oil tanker and transported back to land. However, it's hard to tell how the dog ended up so far from the coast. It was most likely swept away by the undercurrent and had no choice but to swim. The rig workers gave him the name Boone Rod, which is Thai for survivor or something similar. Boone Rod is now free from all worries. He was adopted by one of the rescuers. He is now leading the life he deserves and has made many friends in his new residence. Asha. Tiger Asha belonged to a traveling circus. One could not look at her without crying when activists freed her. The 9-month-old Bengal tiger resembled a 3-month-old cub in terms of size. She was only about 30 pounds. There were scars and bald spots all over her body. Asha had experienced neglect and ill treatment throughout her life. She was housed in a cage with a larger tiger at the circus, and the older tiger frequently tormented the younger one. The activists were unable to abandon the helpless cub to her fate. They first took her to the veterinarian, who sobbed upon seeing the marks on her body. She was given medication, and the wildlife rescue facility then gave her a spacious, independent cage. After 8 weeks of therapy, her body began to grow some of the fuzz back. But it took a lot longer to fully recover. Asha is currently in the best shape of her life, feeling joyful and healthy. She found her soulmate in another rescued tiger, and the two of them now share a home at the shelter. She has developed into a stunning, majestic tigress and enjoys playing in the water.